Welcome, everyone. We'll give everyone 1 or 2 minutes to join, and then we'll start this webinar shortly.
Sounds good.
Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I will start with some introductions and then we'll start this event. So, welcome, everyone. My name is Luisa Barbosa, and along with Robert Celato, we run the Entrepreneurship Committee for ALPFA here in Boston. ALPFA, it's a nonprofit and stands for the Association for Latino Professionals in America. And our mission is to empower Latinos, and we have several events for networking and informational events like this one for you to join us. You can join our conversation in our Facebook page, Instagram, or on our website. And we have several chapters within different cities in the US. At today's event, we invited Andreina from the Vieras group and Jorge from Eastern Bank for us to talk about the importance of building a relationship with your banker and how that relates when you're applying for the PPP loan. This event today will be kind of like a mock interview between a small business entrepreneur, played by Andreina, and a banker, played by Jorge. So, welcome everyone to this event, and I'll pass it along to Jorge and Andreina to start the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Luisa, and good afternoon. My name is Andreina Viera, and I am the CEO of Vieras. We are a business management firm that specializes in back office support. We have experts in areas of accounting, administration, HR, IT, marketing, and safety and environmental services. Throughout the year, we've helped countless of small business owners with their accounting needs, the bookkeeping, making sure they have all of the documents they need to apply for the PPPs. We've helped them with the safety aspect of the business. We have a safety expert that goes to your business and helps you identify the areas that you may need some additional assistance, some additional signs, all of that good stuff. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to be here and to talk to Jorge about the PPP and answer some questions, ask some questions. Some of these questions are from just through our experience and what we've heard other clients ask us, but also questions that you have submitted to us. And so from here on out, Jorge, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Andreina, for that great introduction. I appreciate that. My name is Jorge Andrade, Eastern commercial lender at Eastern Bank. I work with small businesses in providing them with all access to capital. I provide them business solutions in regarding to the ability to do their banking, especially in this ever-evolving technology world that we live in. As a business banker, a commercial lender, the best part is really building relationships with our clients, getting to know them from every level of their business cycle. So that could be a small owner, entrepreneur that just started the business, or it could be a $15, $20 million company that's been around for a long time and needs some further banking expertise. That is what we're here to provide. And as Andreina mentioned, we want to talk to you, everybody here, about the PPP loan. As we know, the PPP loan is such an important program that has been re-released again at the end of 2020 with the program being open in the middle of January. So Eastern Bank, just quickly a little overview on us. We're currently the #1 SBA lender in Massachusetts for the last 12 years. Our focus is on helping business owners no matter where they are in their life cycle. So regarding to the PPP loan, what is the PPP loan? Well, the PPP loan is part of the CARES Act targeted to help business owners with payroll costs and other qualifying expenses. This last round, there were $285 billion allocated for this program. And as of February 7th, there's been $100 billion currently spent. So there's plenty of funds still available, but I would certainly recommend you to certainly jump on those funds as soon as possible. It is a first come, first serve scenario. The anticipated deadline right now is still listed as March 31st, but as I mentioned, it is first come, first serve, and the funds are getting going a little faster now at this point. So I wanted to share with you guys a couple highlights on the current program right now. The current program has 3 different opportunities for our business owners to acquire additional funding. The first one will be the first draw customers. First draw customers means customers that have not acquired any sort of PPP loans in the past. This will be the first time they're acquiring their loan. The second draw customers will be customers that are acquiring a second time PPP loan. This could be a scenario that you've used the funds already and are ready to apply for another opportunity for you to get these funds. And the last program available will be our modification loans. So what that means is you will be able to acquire the difference between what you acquired originally and what the new guidelines are right now. Since this program is ever evolving, guidelines are constantly changing, guidelines are constantly being updated. So as we mentioned, a big important part of this is really for everybody to know the importance of having that relationship with your banker. By you having that, you will have the ability for you to reach out to that individual, ask them questions. You would also more than likely get updated from them. I provide updates to my business customers to see where they are, or where the process, where the program is, when we're opening our platform, where we're closing our platform. And in regarding to the PPP, there's been a couple different changes as well with it, in regarding to the ability for you to take more funds or less funds from what the actual program was originally.
Jorge, can I use the loan funds for other business expenses, like let's say materials and maintenance of infrastructures?
So the answer to the question is yes, you could use the funds for things like that. But the purpose of the PPP loan is for you to be able to provide payroll. It's a payroll relief program. And another important part of this specific program that I really want to make sure that we really get through is we want to make sure that this loan gets forgiven afterwards. The way for that to be forgiven, there's a couple things that you need to be met, and one of them is for you to use the funds. If you get $100,000 loan, 60% or $60,000 of that needs to be used towards payroll costs. The other 40% could be used for other expenses, but there are very specific usage as to what the SBA wants you to use that for. A quick example of that will be mortgage interest on the mortgage that you pay, or your rent, or utilities that you pay for the office building or retail space, or the space that you occupy at this point.
Okay. And how long is the loan term?
So the loan term itself is a 5-year term, at a 1% interest. So yes, very favorable terms. The term of the loan is a normal structure, if I could say it that way. 5 years is about the norm on some term loans. So certainly favorable terms. But again, I really want a lot of our business owners to be able to meet the qualifying part for the forgiveness side of things. Obviously, we all understand that there's some things that just come up and you got to do what you got to do. But as always, we just want to make sure we reiterate that point.
Okay. And do I have to get a credit check to apply?
No credit checks required. There is no guarantors on these specific loans. So that is a positive in that portion part of it.
Will I qualify if I have low credit scores?
That is, you will qualify with that. You will be able to acquire a PPP loan if your credit score is low or has been compromised.
Thank you.
I want to share a couple highlights on the specific programs, mostly the eligibility on the first draw and the second draw. So as I mentioned on the first draw is basically any customer that has not acquired any PPP loan. So what you need for that, we will need your payroll information. We will need to show proof that your business has been in operations from February 15, 2020 moving forward. So those will be some basic requirements for the first draw. The second draw, there's an extra step that needs to be met. And that extra step, aside from providing the payroll information and you used all the funds as well, you will need to show proof that there was a decrease on revenue between one quarter in 2019 to another quarter in 2020. So what I mean by that is if you're using Q2 numbers from 2020, since those were the months that the pandemic was really taking effect in our community, and you want to compare those numbers to 2019, if there was a 25% decrease in revenue, you will be able to qualify for the second draw of this customer. There has been some customers that fortunately they did not have that significant drop, so they weren't able to qualify for the specific PPP program, but that will be a little bit of that parameter that they will need to be met for that second drop. The other difference as well too with the second part of the PPP loan will be the ability for you to qualify. If you have a NAICS code, and what the NAICS code is the tax code that you put for you when you claim your taxes, and that distinguish what the industry is that you are in. If you have a NAICS code that starts with the number 72, you will be able to apply for a larger amount of funds. So everybody that does not have a 72 NAICS code will be able to apply 2.5 times their payroll cost. If you have a NAICS code with 72, and to give you a quick example, that could be that's usually a restaurant, food industry scenario. That could be the PPP amount you will be able to use is 3.5 times your monthly payroll expense.
Wow,
The big difference there.
that's amazing. Thank you for that information. What happens if I only have 1099 contractors?
If you have 1099 employees, we will need to take a look at your Schedule C to see what is the revenue that the business gets at the end of the year to be able to calculate that. So what I mean by that is you will be able to apply for the PPP portion part of it, but the employees that you 1099, those employees themselves will also be able to apply for the PPP loan. So I recommend everybody that is a 1099 employee, a Schedule C employee, to give myself a call, give Andreina a call as well. We can review those financials to see exactly if we were able to qualify for that PPP loan or not.
Okay. What if I was a sole proprietor and all of a sudden I converted to an LLC? Do I still qualify?
Absolutely. First thing, congratulations on moving your business over to the next level. It's so important to do that. But always, as always, it's important to do it at the right time of your business life cycle. So yes, to answer your question, absolutely. You can certainly qualify for it. As with everything with this program, paper trail is going to be the important part. So we're going to need to see your relationship, your structure as to how the business was done as a sole prop and what it is now at this point.
And what if I started operating my business in 2020?
If you started operating the business before February 15, you're good to go to apply for this program. What more than likely we will be using in regarding to payroll numbers will be the remaining months, or I'm sorry, the remaining quarters of 2020, since that will be the evidence of the payroll that you have there at that point.
Okay, great. Now, loan forgiveness. Can you explain to me a little bit about how that works? That's a really important factor in me and my business wanting to apply for the PPP loan.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I mentioned, that is such an important part of this program and what we really want the ultimate goal to be. As I mentioned, it is very favorable terms with the 5-year term at 1%. But for you to be able to get the forgiveness side of things, the forgiveness side of things is not black and white. It's not 100% or nothing. So there is a percentage of it that could be fully forgiven. I'm sorry, be forgiven, but the other portion can be taken as a loan. So as an example, if you do not use all of the funds for payroll and some of the other expenses were not qualified, those other parts will not be part of the forgiven portion part of it. So as I mentioned, if you use 60% of the loan amount for payroll purposes and 40% for those qualified expenses, this loan will be forgiven. Now, a difference between this program and the original program and the second version of this program will be the ability for you to choose the covered period of payroll. So it could either be it could be between 8 weeks and 24 weeks that you choose as to what your payroll structure would be. Something very different than what was before originally.
Is the loan forgiveness an automatic process?
No, it's not. Great question as well. You're just on top of your game with these questions. What I would say with that is no, it's not. It is not automatically forgiven. Currently, right now, SBA has come out with new guidelines with loans 150 and under. And again, this is under the first program. For the new program that we're talking about right now, we're assuming here that these guidelines will come down later on the year. But as of now, no, this process is not automatic. It is something you need to apply for. It is something very important for you to continue using any sort of paper documentation to show that you've used the funds towards the payroll. So if you have a payroll provider, please use that. Please use them. An organization like Viera is perfect example of a company that will be able to help you with that portion part of it, and also be able to track you with the other expenses as well. Eastern Bank ourselves has come out with a software as well called Monit that is very easy for you to be able to use on your system on your current accounting system, and that system will track what the expenses are for PPP. So certainly a great free tool as well.
Okay, so you would say that we can, if we are working with your bank, we can go directly into that new software, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. We will assist you on enrolling on that, and yes, you'll be able to. The software itself will be able to tell you exactly how you're using those funds and how to correctly use it. A lot of our customers have opened up a new account to kind of make it easier for them, but with this software, they don't need to open up a new account. They could just keep their current operating account.
Now, where do I apply if I've used a different bank?
Any SBA approved lenders. There are a lot of lenders out there that are SBA approved. They will be able to assist you with all your PPP questions and certainly the PPP application. Some of the things that I would certainly recommend you to start gathering in regarding to the documentation you will need will be, as we know, every business is a little bit different. So if you're a sole prop, there's going to be the Schedule C that you're going to need. If you're an incorporation, an LLC, an S corp or C corp, or even a nonprofit, we are nonprofits are part of this PPP program, including 501c6, which is something new. Before those were not part of it, but this part of the round they are. So yes, those will be some of the tools that you'll be able to acquire in regarding to submitting the application.
And how do I know when I should apply for forgiveness?
I apply today. Call me, call Andreina as well, call your local bank, call your SBA approved lender. As I mentioned, the program is open now. Funds are available. There's been, as of last week or now 10 days, there was 100 billion of these 285 billion funds used. And the program was just launched in the middle of January. So in the month, we can see that 100 billion has been used. As I mentioned, this is set to expire by March 31st. So the funds might not be there by then. So certainly time is of the essence.
Okay. This is all amazing information. Now, where do I apply?
Call me. We here at Eastern Bank. We'll be happy to help. We're helping customers and non-customers. We're helping first draw, second draw customers as well. So yes, please give us a call. We'll be happy to have a conversation, because that's really what we want you to have. We really want you to have that ability to call your banker and say, hey, this is my information. Do I qualify or not? And I've been doing a lot of that over the last few weeks. The good side of things is some customers have been doing well, that they don't need to apply for the second round. Some are struggling still. So we've been very happy to be able to submit their application, and we've been funding a lot of the applications over the last few weeks as well. So there's been money been put in people's accounts and being able for them to provide for their payroll scenario at this point.
Now, I want to make sure that I'm prepared and I have everything in order before I apply. Can you tell me a little bit about what I need?
Absolutely. There is an official PPP application out there that you can surely grab on. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we do it here at Eastern. Eastern Bank is using a little bit of technology for this process to be very streamlined. So I'll be happy to send you over the link for you to be able to submit the application. Aside the application, you're going to need proof of payroll. So what that means is if you're using a payroll provider, reach out to them and have them provide some sort of documentation that they should have available. If you don't have a payroll provider, then we can certainly look at your financials. As I mentioned, your tax returns, 941s or 940s will be the tax documents we can take a look at. Aside those payroll documentations, we will need a government issued driver's license or passport. We will need documents to prove that 25% drop as well. So that could be financials, in management prepared financials are acceptable. If you're using tax returns, that's something we can use as well. Even bank statements could be something that could be used as well. But as always, and as we keep saying a little bit, by you having that relationship banker, for you to be able to reach out and have these questions, that would be the best way to really continue moving forward. And the final thing that you would also need would be a deposit relationship with your bank.
Okay. Are there resources for clients that do not speak or aren't fluent in English?
Absolutely. Here at Eastern Bank, we certainly have a lot of my colleagues that speak different dialects. Yo hablo español 100%. Cualquier pregunta, any questions you have, please. We have different dialects, as I mentioned. We have Portuguese-speaking colleagues, Mandarin-speaking colleagues as well. So certainly any dialect, we'll be happy to see if we can help you out with that. But aside from that, there are other resources out there as well.
Yes, and that brings me to my next slide. So there are a couple of nonprofit organizations out there that are working tirelessly on helping small businesses with their PPP loans. One of them is LISC and the other is Small Business Strong. I highly recommend that you look these two organizations up, contact them, and they will be more than glad to help you. In addition to that, you have the Vieras. We help clients prepare all of these documents that Jorge was talking about and get you through the pipeline. And not only that, but we also help with making sure that your business as a whole is as strong as possible and that you're prepared to either stay open or reopen with our COVID safety plans. And so, yeah, the next question would be, does anyone else have any questions? We have a few minutes left and we'd like to make sure that we've covered everything that you need to feel confident to apply for the PPP loans.
Thank you, Andreina and Jorge. This was amazing information. So I will start reading to you the questions that came through the chat, and I'll start from the first one. So Viviana asked, can new businesses apply, or how long do you have to be in business for? And I think, Jorge, you answered that. I need to be February 2020, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I would not try to answer any others. The second one, Bobby asked, do we have a certain revenue to qualify?
Nope, there is no specific guidelines for certain revenue. It could be as low as $20,000 or as high as a couple $1 million of revenue there at that point.
Thank you. And then Ziad asked, so just to confirm, there's no way to qualify for this without proving that your revenue decreased.
That will be for the second draw of the PPP loan. So there's a first draw if you've never acquired any loan. The second draw, meaning that you have acquired a loan in the past, a PPP loan early in 2020, and now you're looking for the second round. So yes, if there is no 25% revenue drop, unfortunately, they won't be able to qualify. Now, again, you can choose the quarter that you want to use as well. So it doesn't necessarily just need to be Q2. If your business slowed down a little bit in Q3 or Q4, you can certainly use those quarters. Or even yearly numbers can work as well.
Great. Thank you, Jorge. And then Tawana asked, can you apply having a business that has no employees, just yourself, and have recently applied for an LLC?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're able to apply. That's a Schedule C, that 1099 employee, those sole prop businesses out there that we all know are really the lifeline of our economy as well. So yes, absolutely, they're able to apply. And as I mentioned, this is where we certainly want to have a conversation with Andreina and myself, and see what the number might be for you at that point.
Great. And then Tawana also asked as a follow-up, and also, how do you pay yourself?
Well, the way that you pay yourself will be if you're a sole prop at the end of the year what your revenue, what your bottom line number is. That will be the income, because in taxes, that bottom line gets transferred over to your personal taxes. In full disclosure, I'm no accountant, but that's normally how it works and gets processed. But again, really to reiterate the point is, again, just really have a good relationship with your banker. With your bank, feel comfortable with that individual to ask those questions. That is what I'm here for. I'm here to provide that expertise, that knowledge, and answer those questions for you. And if I don't know it, I'll get back to you on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jorge. It's so important to like have this relationship. And as we were talking earlier, Andreina also mentioned, now that it's time that we need help or entrepreneurs need help, we're looking for a banker that we didn't have a relationship before. So how important it is to keep having this relationship through time. So I will continue with the questions. So Ziad also asked.
I would also like to add that when you prepare yourself prior to meeting with your banker, write a list of questions that you have, similar to when you go get a physical. You have all the questions in your head, and by the time you get there, you forget. So just prepare. It's really important, that process.
Thank you so much. So next question from Ziad. Also for 1099s, do they apply themselves? Can you elaborate on that a little?
Absolutely. So yes, those individuals are able to apply. What we will need is your tax returns to see what the payroll, what your revenue is at the end of the day, to see what the amount is that you're able to qualify. We will need to see some bank statements to show that as well. But yeah, that's certainly, to answer your questions, yes, you're certainly able to apply.
Okay.
Can I read the next question?
Yes.
I think we have Angela. Is that the next question? Or did we just, yes. So Angela asked, can you please clarify, for those who successfully received first draw, is loan forgiveness only permitted for payroll distributed in 8 to 24 weeks or anytime?
During the first draw, that's a good question. I have to get back to you on that if you can reach back to me directly. And the reason why is there's been so many changes that has been happening with the forgiveness side of things, that the answer to answer your question, I'll need to ask you a couple further questions on that. Loan amount, what is the time that you use that for at that point?
Great, thank you. So Angela can follow up with Jorge and get that information. Next question from Jonathan. If your revenue increased year on year, but decreased during COVID, can you still apply?
Absolutely. If Q2 was the quarter that the revenue dropped and then revenues picked back up in Q3, yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. I think we have one last question. Have you seen loans get denied? If so, what are some major reasons for denial?
So we have seen some denials, and it's mostly denials with counteroffers. So the denials have come out in ways that the amount that the customer, the business owner is requesting is not accurate. So after we do some calculations, we share with you that no, this is the number that you are allowed to apply for right now at this point. The other example as well for lack of approval will be that they don't have that 25% drop. They had 24, I had a business that had 24.5%. And unfortunately, since this program is run by SBA, it's pretty black and white in regarding to those things. So yes, that number does need to be met.
I've also seen loans get delayed because when someone applies, they may not have their books in order. You know, it's really important that you organize yourself and have all your bookkeeping up to date so that you can prove what you have on the loan.
Absolutely, that 100% correct. I've seen the delays more than anything on acquiring that 25% revenue drop because their financials are not they're not ready at that point. So yes, certainly having a great organization to work with will certainly help you at that point as well.
Well, thank you so much. I love the engagement during this webinar. Very good questions. Andreina and Jorge, you're for sure masters of this subject. So we appreciate you here today. For all participants, we'll be sending a follow-up one-pager. And also, a lot of people asked for Jorge's and Andreina's contact. I did share on the chat, but we'll also send us a follow-up email, their phone numbers, email contacts, so you can reach out to them if your business needs any help or advice.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you for having us. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Ciao a
Robert,
todos.
thank you. Ciao, gracias.